Welcome to the Stand Up Speakeasy. I'm your host, Sareth Ney, and every episode I bring a comic from coast to coast, and they're my guests today. And without further ado, all the way from Jacksonville, Florida, is Wendy Gillis. How's it going?
Hello. Glad to be here.
Awesome. I'm glad you're my guest. So we got a lot of things to get through. So are you ready to rock and roll?
I am ready to rock and roll. Let's do it.
Awesome. So you just celebrated 5 years of stand up comedy, and a happy anniversary. How have the past 5 years treated you?
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting because about 5 years ago was COVID, the pandemic, and that's when I started, first of all, writing jokes, understanding what joke structure was, doing a lot of it kind of without being able to get out there in front of an audience because it was COVID. But as soon as I could get out there in front of an audience, I was trying a few things. I think I actually met you not too far from that. I remember meeting you years ago, and it might have been about 4.5 years ago. So it was at Eclipse. Do you remember that? It
Yeah.
was the mic that Romaine and Cheryl were running. It was like a Monday night mic or something like that, or maybe even a showcase. But I just remember that's when I first met you, or at least we were both part of the mic slash showcase. So yeah, basically that was very early on in me trying to do stand-up comedy, and I've learned so much, over the past 5 years. On one hand, it seems like it's only been 5 years, and then on the other hand, I'm like, oh my goodness, like time went so fast. So yeah, I basically just got interested in it. I don't want to say, I had a whole heck of a lot of extra time on my hands during COVID, but it was one of those things where you're locked inside and you're supposed to, social distance. And I'm like hitting Netflix, just binge watching all the stand up comedy specials. And I'm like, if I had time on my hands and I could do anything that I wanted, what would it be? And I was like, it would for sure be stand up comedy, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm going to try and learn. And then once we can get back out there to mics and in front of audiences, I'm going to see how it goes. So that's kind of pretty much how I started.
Wow. And we were blessed in Florida. We only had like 4 months of the pandemic, and everywhere else was like years, or they're still trying to
Exactly.
recover, I think. So,
Exactly. Very true.
yeah. Oh man. And so you've done performed on various stages up and down the East Coast, and you spoke of Eclipse, and what are some of your favorites that you've performed at?
Sure. So most of it's been in Florida. I am, like you said, living in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm from Pennsylvania, so there's a comedy zone up there in Pennsylvania, and I try to, when I do get home to visit friends and family, I try to get to that comedy zone, and also I've done a couple smaller shows, around that. I'm from Central Pennsylvania, so around that area. But most of the performing that I've done has been in Florida, most of it in Jacksonville at the Comedy Zone, and then also making my way down to Palm Coast and performing at Christy B Comedy. Also, there's been a couple other great opportunities that have come up. There's Third Space Improv in St. Augustine that's fairly new. It's an improv, company, but they also let the stand-up comedians come and take the stage every now and again. Well, actually, I think it's at least once a month, and then they also have like an open mic a different time of the month. So I've enjoyed performing there. And then there's kind of been, pop-ups all over as well that I tried to participate in as much as I could. So yeah, it's been exciting. A lot going on. Especially lately, I feel like the pop-ups, they're, happening all over the place. So I've been probably, last weekend I was at Flagler Beach. And so Flagler Beach, Daytona is probably about as south as I've been. And then up to St. Mary's, Kingsland, Georgia is, kind of the Northeast Florida area where I've gone north, and then west, it's been Lake City. I've performed out there in Lake City. And so, yeah, it's kind of been exciting to see certain things pop up, in the general region of Northeast Florida. But I'm excited to see kind of what's next too.
Awesome, for sure. And I love how you found your voice in stand up. Like you take your real life experiences from being a mom and a college professor and a breast cancer survivor. And speaking of breast cancer, and cancer in general. I love that you're. What we're doing is raising funds for Roz McCoy, a fellow comic, and so the Eventbrite for her event is coming up, and also her GoFundMe as well, and Wendy Gillis' Instagram handles, and my link tree is there too. So, why was it important for you, us to raise funds for Roz McCoy?
Sure. Yeah, appreciate the question. So, for me, about 3 years ago, so 2 years into kind of my comedy career, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was a gut punch, very traumatic. And I found that one of the things that really was helpful for me is while I was going through treatment, I would continue to write jokes. I would just try to distract myself from what was going on. And, I wasn't sure. I mean, in some ways that can be looked at as a little crazy, it's a very traumatic thing you're going through and you're going to, try to come up with jokes and crack jokes about it. But to be honest, it was pretty therapeutic, and yes, it was fun to kind of come up with jokes and then, laugh about it, but also I needed to find something to focus all my energy and thoughts on. I wanted to distract myself. I didn't want to kind of continue to think about what I was going through. So fast forward to, actually next month, October of every year is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And about a couple of weeks ago, I learned that fellow comedian, like you said, Roz McCoy, got diagnosed with breast cancer and is going through treatment as we speak. So I understand she is in chemo treatment right now. She might also need to do surgeries and maybe radiation. I'm not sure, but basically, in combination with Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I was approached by one of Roz McCoy's really good friends, also my good friend, Kim Bynum, who's a realtor. And Roz McCoy and Kim Bynum were actually on a Navy ship together years and years ago. So they were in the Navy together and they know each other. And I've been on shows with Roz before. And so anyway, Kim wanted to sponsor the event and so basically hold this fundraiser where all proceeds from the tickets would go to Roz McCoy to help pay for her treatment. And so that's basically what we're doing on October 25th. It's the last Saturday night in October, last Saturday of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we are going to do it at the South Bank Marriott, which is the South Bank of downtown Jacksonville. I think we have the cocktail hour starting at 6:30, and then the show starts at 7. And it's going to be Sean Steele, who's another comedian that I do a lot of work with, Patrick Carson, myself, and then Roz McCoy is going to come in and headline the event, which is exciting. If you've ever seen Roz McCoy, you know that she's not going to be able to just sit in the audience and, be a spectator. She's definitely going to want to get on stage and do her thing. We're all kind of sending her warm wishes and, thinking about what she's going through this difficult time in terms of the treatment. So I really think it's just going to be an amazing event, to your points, for such a good cause. So the comedians are there, combine them. We're all trying to pull people, to attend the event and really kind of sell it out for her, and then, hopefully she'll be in a much better place financially in terms of all those bills that I am very well aware of that come up during all the treatment that you need to go through. So that's kind of the goal there. So yeah, it's really comedians, supporting comedians, which I found, the comedian community in Northeast Florida to be, they came to my rescue, when I was kind of going through it. Some comedians said, you should still write, you should still keep going. And I'm like, but I'm not going to be able to get on any stage anytime soon. I don't even know that I can even do this anymore. And that was kind of, the impetus for me thinking, what if I do keep writing and keep enjoying comedy? And then, like I said, that kind of turned into be a bit of a distraction for me, which I very much appreciated. I was looking for a distraction. I really wanted to, take advantage of that. So the event for Roz is called Laughter is the Best Medicine Comedy Show. And yeah, we're basically all pulling for and wanting to support her and make that event as great as we can make it.
Most definitely. So all the information is in the description box below. All you got to do is just click it, and it'll take you to each destination. And so, Wendy, we have like 5 minutes left because I want to respect your time. So if you want, we can just like lightning round all these usual questions, okay? For what inspired you to perform stand up comedy?
Sorry, what's the question?
What inspired you to perform stand up comedy?
Oh, right. So I this is gonna be the geek answer, Sareth. Okay,
Yeah.
you know I'm a college professor. I got to bring the geek stuff in every now and again. But I maybe it's silly, but I love public speaking. That's kind of why I became a professor, where I'm like, I love to get up there in front of the students. Any chance I get, I love to be on a stage, TED Talk, anything that has to do with public speaking. And then, when I kind of had some time on my hands and could really understand joke structure and writing jokes and paying attention to what those comedians were doing on Netflix, I, pretty much tried to put it all together and have really enjoyed it. It's not fun every minute of the day because it's hard. It's hard to write jokes, and then it's hard to remember them to then go put them out on stage, and then you might think it's funny, but the audience isn't there, and other things can be going on that has nothing to do with what you've written and are performing. So yeah, I kind of got inspired by a love for public speaking, and then also just being inspired by other comedians to try it myself.
Indeed. And what was it feeling like when you first performed stand up?
What was it like?
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying, terrifying. And I thought that was surprising because, like I said, I like public speaking. I seek those opportunities out. Meanwhile, I go up there and try and do stand up comedy, and I was like, this is foreign. This does not feel natural. And I have learned over the years, a big reason for that is it's not like, a talk or a speech. It's about being natural in the moment, about connecting with the audience, which means, a lot of the rules for other public speaking do not apply. And that was something, that I learned and did not necessarily realize, but it was also kind of refreshing. I was like, wow, like it pays to be conversational. It pays to, kind of, like I said, be in the moment and, better. And by doing so, you better connect with the audience, which I was thrilled to, you know, challenge accepted is pretty much how I looked at it, that I learned that and really wanted to explore that a little bit more. So
Awesome. And you mentioned you watch like a lot of Netflix specials. What are your favorite comedy specials, comedy records, and comedy podcasts?
So I would probably say I haven't seen as many specials lately. I think just maybe because of other responsibilities. But I'll tell you the special that kind of changed my life that I saw during the pandemic, and that was Taylor Tomlinson. Oh my gosh. I mean, I just watched what she did, and she's 25 years, maybe more younger than me. And so I don't know that we have a lot in common as far as things that we're going through, at different stages of our lives. But her delivery, and then even when you would kind of unpack it, and it wasn't just so much what she was doing on stage, but then when you kind of recognize the writing and really what she was accomplishing from that standpoint, I was just like, I'm all in. Like that is tremendous, watching her do what she does. And so she, I would probably say, is the one that, I mean, I actually have seen her live a few times since, seeing some of her Netflix specials. They've been all good. But that quarter life crisis that came out in like 2020, I mean, I was just like blown away, where I was like, oh my gosh, like that's what I want to be able to do. Of course, like her, you can't, that's her thing. But yeah, it was super inspiring. And I just, there are others that I've enjoyed. I like Joe Coy. Ha, I know you know Joe Coy, and I always bring that up to you because I'm so jealous of all your photos with him. I think he's brilliant. He is closer to my age, so I can relate to a lot of the things that he's talking about with regard to that. But then, he's also male versus female. So anyway, he's a favorite. I've seen him live a couple times. Sebastian Maniscalco, I like. I've seen him live a couple times. So and he again is about my age, but also male versus female. I like Nate Bargatze. I think that he's tremendous. Have not yet seen him live, hoping to do that in Jacksonville in February. But yeah, those are the ones that have pretty much inspired me and just love to watch. And it's not just one of their specials. It's the fact that every one, that they come out with is just top notch.
Indeed. So we have 30 seconds left, so we'll skip the rest of the questions and even the
Okay.
nominees because we're like not even gonna go there. So I'm not gonna interview anybody else. But plug your shows. What shows do you have coming up?
I appreciate that. So I would probably say the biggest show I'm plugging right now is that Roz McCoy fundraiser. I've got a couple other things going on. I'm going to be spending some time at Third Space Improv. I think actually next, Sareth Fest is next week. I can't say that that's going to be next week, but then Friday, October 10th, I'm going to be at Third Space. And then I am really looking forward to that Roz McCoy show. I'm calling it, Laughter is the Best Medicine on Friday, October 25th. And then, feel really good about the month of October. And then I'm going to kind of be looking for some other gigs to add to my schedule in November. So.
Awesome, fantastic. So we went over by 30 seconds, but if you want, you need to go. I will totally understand, and I'll plug in my dates of my last hurrahs. Any last words from you, Wendy?
Not that I can think of. I just appreciate this opportunity, and I'm so looking forward to next week. I promised to be prepared. I just gotta carve out some time and make sure I'm able to do that. So thanks for including me, and I'll see you there.
Awesome. Be well, Wendy. Thank you so much, and I'll stay online and plug my stuff. So be well. Take it easy.
Thank you so much. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. Awesome. Give it for Wendy. She I can only spare 15 minutes, and I want to respect her time. So, and I'll plug in my shows, and we'll get the other questions and nominees on a later date. I mean, we can always do it next time in our interview and everything like that. So, make sure you donate to Roz McCoy's GoFundMe on the bottom there, and also the buy those tickets so we can help her with all things with her breast cancer and all that good stuff, or bad stuff, however you want to look at it. Just go to that show. And for my future appearances, I have September 30th at 8 p.m. at the Moon Room at Pineapples again in Melbourne, Florida. I'm going on tour with my friend Travis McMullen called There's Something About Scarface. You're gonna love it. And then October 1st at 7 p.m. I'll be at the Funny Bone Side Stage in Orlando, Florida. October 1st at 9, I'll be at Bullenbush. It's an open mic. And so sign up and join us with the laughs. Also, on October 2nd, 6:30 and 8:30 at Punk Rock Pizza in Daytona Beach. October 3rd, 6:30 and 8:30 at Punk Rock Pizza in Daytona Beach for Sareth Fest. These are all Sareth Fest dates. October 4th and 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. at Punk Rock Pizza in Daytona Beach. October 5th at 1 p.m. at World's Most Famous Brewery, and also at 1:30 p.m. at Punk Rock Pizza, both in Daytona Beach. And that's how I'm wrapping up my stand-up comedy journey. And I hope to see you all there. All those dates are free to attend, so just get a babysitter, buy some drinks, buy some food, come support us, get some laughs, pay for parking. I know that adds up to a lot of money, so that's why I decided to make my festivals free to attend for the past 12 years in Colorado, past 5 in Daytona Beach. And yeah, we'll see you at the fest. Be well, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Stand Up Speakeasy. Be well, everyone.